Hello, everybody out there. This is Dylan Lang, and this is day 3 of Spider-Gwen week. You just heard Lisa Loeb singing I Do, my opening music for this special Spider-Gwen week edition of, I guess you can call it Dylan Knows. For those who don't know who I am, I have my own weekly Sunday show, 12:30 p.m., called Dylan Knows. And I'm also a huge comic book fan. I actually do one of my shows is about comic books. I do it every first Sunday of the month with my co-host MJ Khan. But I'm also a huge comic fan and huge Spider-Man fan. And when I saw the lovely Jessica from Comicosity at Charming Red on Twitter was saying that she wants to do a week of Spider-Gwen, who is one of the best new characters created by Marvel in the past year or so, who is actually going to be getting her own series on Wednesday. She wanted to do a week leading up to that first issue because she loves the character as much as anybody else. I said, hell, I'll do it too. But instead of your typical Twitter, which is the way Jessica does it, she does it via Twitter with a bunch of other people. They take a look at they tweet the comic issues that we'll be discussing. I decided, you know what, because I like to hear my own voice and because I am an egotist, as it were, I will do Hangouts and just talk about it. They're going to be short, as I said, no longer than 10, 20 minutes, if that. And we'll just be primarily focused on Spider-Gwen, who is Gwen Stacy, who was Peter Parker's great love, who was killed by the Green Goblin in the regular 616 Marvel world. And Peter Parker has never been the same, even with Mary Jane, him marrying Mary Jane and being in love with them and stuff like that. Gwen Stacy has always been, in most people's assumption, I believe, Peter's soulmate. And the fact is, in this alternate dimension, we have a Gwen Stacy who got the spider powers, and Peter Parker was the one who died, but not by the Green Goblin. He died experimenting on himself, and she felt guilty because he wanted to be like her. So that's what that is. So it's great. She's a high school girl. She's in a rock band, all women rock band with Peter's in the 616, his former girlfriends, Mary Jane, Betty Brant, Gloria, characters you've known from the Peter Parker Spider-Man we all know and love. So every day, starting from last Thursday to this Wednesday, take a look at 2 different episodes and issues of the Spider-Verse storyline, which is where Spider-Gwen was introduced. And we'll be primarily focused on appearances that Gwen has. Now, I'm recording this on Sunday. I missed yesterday due to snow and painful back problems due to shoveling this said snow. So I'm doing this one now, and I'm going to do today's also, and I will let everybody else see that one at the usual time of 7 o'clock. So if you want to join in on the live tweet of Spider-Gwen week, join Charming Red and everybody else on Twitter, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the tweet up. Now, first, I'll tell you what today's is in a little bit, but I'm going back to what yesterday's was. Yesterday, they covered Amazing Spider-Man number 11 and Spider-Verse Team Up number 2. Actually, I think I should probably reverse this because I think I'm all backwards here. Boom, there we go. That's better. So we'll be covering these and only taking a look at Gwen Stacy, and I'll tell you, what day 4 is. And then I will do a day 4 one. I will tell you this right now, day 4, there's really not a lot of Spider-Gwen. So it's going to be very quick and short, easy to the point. So let me just get to, well, I don't know what I'm going to do for that, but we'll see. So Amazing Spider-Man number 11. For those who don't know, Spider-Verse is a storyline where there's a band of marauders who go around and who feast on the souls of spider totems throughout different dimensions. So they go to these different dimensions, they attack, kill, and devour the spider totems. So, yay, I guess. It's their food source. So Superior Spider-Man, who was Dr. Octopus in Spider-Man's body until they rebooted Amazing Spider-Man and Peter Parker's back in his body as Spider-Man. He has been gathering a crew to take on these guys, and then Peter now has gotten caught up with everybody else and is now a part of this group of people who are a group of Spider-Mans from different dimensions, men, women, animals, cartoons, stuff like that, who are being devoured by these marauders. So This is issue number 11. It's part 3 of the Spider-Verse saga. I've already discussed part 2 and part 1 in previous Gwen Week Day videos, and you can go back and check those on Twitter, as I said, on YouTube rather. As I said, it's only about 20 minutes for each episode. Once again, we're only going to really focus on Gwen Spider appearances, or rather Spider-Gwen appearances. Who? Look at that. Front page right there. That's Spider-Gwen right there. Whoops. Right there. Great costume. I love the costume design. Jason Latour is the writer who I believe created Spider-Gwen, and Robbie Rodriguez is the artist who might have created the costume as well. So you've got Spider-Gwen standing with the actual Spider-Man, Peter Parker, as well as Miles Morales from the Ultimate Universe. Spider-Monkey's down there, Spider-Ham's over here, the Captain Universe, Spider-Man is there, and there's a few other ones as well. Superior Spider-Man is claiming that he should be, once again, it's Dr. Octopus in the mind of Peter Parker, should be the leader of the group, but Peter disagrees with them. So the two are going to have a fight, and the rest of the spiders are watching them. Once again, here's Gwen again, who says, go, what's over there? She is. There we go. So go get him, Peter. So she's cheering on Peter. She appreciates Peter because she sees a lot of probably the Peter in her past in him. There she is again in silhouette. You can tell because of the hood. And so eventually what happens is Peter Parker defeats Superior Spider-Man and then asks him, you know what we're dealing with, so, you can be my second-hand man or whatever, and we're going to move out and take care of things. There she is again as part of the team, right on the right-hand side, right hand of Peter, with all the rest of the Spider-Mans out there. They're getting ready to take the battle to the bad guys. Here is Gwen's biggest sequence in the whole issue, and it's a pretty important one also. Peter has tasked her to give aid to her and Anya, to give aid to Spider-Woman, Jessica Drew, who is on assignment, as it were, right now. And Peter is suggesting that Gwen and Anya go and help her with the job. And beforehand, Peter was, I don't want Gwen to go do this other thing because the shock of seeing her alive and what happened to her, he feels guilty about what happened to her. He's all like, I can't let anything happen to her. But now he's beginning to think, okay, that's probably a bad idea because she's not the same Gwen that I knew. She's as powerful as I am, and she's very smart and very quick. So I'm going to give her this assignment. So he actually comes over and he apologizes. Whoops. He apologizes to her. She's like, yeah, I get it. The others told me what was going on. And there's a bit of a nice little tender moment between them. Says, we'll just watch out for each other. And Peter says, sounds like a plan. I think that's my favorite art piece of Spider and Gwen, that section, two of them, that just shows the pure, that the love of Gwen Stacy and Peter Parker spans dimensions. Even though he doesn't know this Gwen Stacy, she's totally different than the Gwen Stacy that he knew and loved. But it's odd seeing your true love with your powers, and it's hard for him, I guess, to accept it. But he wants to, try to make it right by helping any other iteration of Gwen there is. So she makes one more appearance right there before she heads off on her top secret job with to help Jessica. And there she is, right there. You see once again with the hood, right above Spectacular Spider-Man's head in the panel, getting ready to go help out Spider-Woman. And I think that's the last of her. I'm just going to verify that is the last of Spider-Gwen in this issue. Because I have read it, I just don't remember. I don't remember everything. I mean, I love to prepare, not really. For those who know me, I don't really like to prepare. So then we come to Spider-Verse Team Up, which is probably the second biggest Gwen Stacy appearance since the very first one we did, which was Edge of Spider-Verse Gwen Stacy issue, which was basically a pilot for her new series. So Spider-Verse Team Up had different iterations of Spider-Man teaming up in two different stories. The first one finds Miles Morales joining forces with the Ultimate Spider-Man cartoon Spider-Man and the 1960s cartoon Spider-Man, which is actually hilarious. when you see it. It's actually one of the funniest stories in the series. But that's not what we're here to look at. We're here to look at Spider in the Dark, written by Jerry Conway, with art by Stephen Sanders, artist. Jerry Conway is, I think, the guy who killed Gwen Stacy. He wrote Spider-Man back in the 70s when this happened, and has been a prolific Spider-Man writer for a while. Real quick, Amazing Spider-Man number 11, Dan Slott writer, Oliver Coipel, art with Wade Von Grawbadger and Justin Ponzer as inkers. So it was great to see Jerry Conway actually doing a story for the Spider-Verse, because he is a not necessarily iconic Spider-Man writer, but he is a Spider-Man writer. And so we've got Gwen going on assignment trying to recruit more Spider-Mans. In this case, this Spider-Man of this world is dressed like the Hobgoblin. And we'll find out why in a second. But Spider-Gwen's trying to convince him, as being chased by one of Morloon's sisters and her beasts, which are, Spider-Man's villains, but in beast form, like Rhino and Scorpion, that are brainless creatures, stuff like that. So Gwen Stacy here is helping out with the Peter Parker Hobgoblin, and he's like, "Who the hell are you?" And she takes off her mask, says, "I'm Gwen Stacy." And he freaks out because in his world, she died the same way as she did in the Spider-Man 616 world. And as you can see, the anguish on his face is, I guess Gwen Stacy meets the same demise in multiple dimensions. And that's got to be kind of unnerving for Gwen, but she doesn't show it that much. But the difference, though, is in the 616 Marvel Universe, where Gwen originally was from, the original Spider-Man that we all know and love, he didn't kill Green Goblin. He fought Green Goblin. Even though he wanted to kill him, he didn't, because Spider-Man doesn't kill. And end up Green Goblin killed himself. He comes back, but that's besides the point. But in this dimension, as we find out here, this Peter Parker, after the death of Gwen Stacy, he beat the Green Goblin to death and then killed him. And then, since he was no longer Spider-Man, the good Spider-Man, because Spider-Man never kills anybody, he killed Spider-Man and turned himself into the Hobgoblin. And my favorite line is here, where he's explaining to Gwen, so I killed him. I killed all of them. First Gwen was killed because I couldn't save her. Then the Goblin. And when both of them were dead, the only one left to kill was Spider-Man. And Gwen is like, "Okay, I get it." And so she's like trying to comfort him, says, "I understand. In my reality, I was responsible for your death. I know how you feel." And Peter's like, "No, you don't." It's like, "Yes, it's true. The grief, the guilt, the sense of overpowering responsibility. I can't change your past, Peter, but with this, I can offer you a way back to the man you were supposed to be." And that's the teleportation device that's going to help this Peter join forces with the other Spider-Mans in protecting the world. And Gwen is trying to convince him, "You need to come because Spider-Man's in trouble." And then, of course, unfortunately, boom, the bad guys come. They come back. Gwen has been knocked unconscious. Peter is freaked out because he's afraid she's dead. She's not. So Peter says, "You know what? I can't do this. I'm too far gone, but I can maybe help you stop them." So he goes and save you. So he goes and fights Morloon's sister, who ends up shredding his internal organs and his face. And he's laughing because he blows her up. I mean, she's immune, and not immune. She's a clone, so she can clone herself again and come back to life. But the fact is, he killed her. Peter's pretty much dead here. Gwen is upset, and she's like, "No, I thought I could save you." And Peter's like, "I did. You did." And she gets pissed, and so he's happy because he was able to save Gwen, and Gwen now has to go and beat up on Morloon's family. Great Spider-Gwen appearance, more in-depth look at her character. This was great also, where you get the touching feelings between Peter and her. And that's the end of Spider-Man week 3, or Spider-Gwen, I should say, day 3, I should say. I got to find myself, I may as well finish up this song to take us out. So, got to turn it up. So stay tuned. This is day 3. Day 4 of Spider-Gwen, Spider-Gwen is Amazing Spider-Man number 12. Spider-Woman number 2. We'll be doing that one tonight, Sunday. On this note, Lisa Loeb, I Do, is going to take us out.